Hello, welcome back to Tuesday Tyche Talks. It happens to be on actual Tuesday. Um, oh, it said something went wrong. Okay, I don't know what happened. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, technology. So I'm super excited to be here for another Tyche Talk. I'm Lauren Young Durbin. I'm a career clarity coach, and I help women who are mid-career identify what their next career steps are and how to get there. And I am super stoked to have our guest today, Andrea. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. So sorry. So
Doing
I'm super excited
fine.
to have our guest here today. Andrea Yacub Macek is an accomplished career change and career development coach. She helps mid and experienced career professional women navigate and remove barriers in their careers so they can show up as themselves and move forward and upward. Andrea has spent over 10 years developing expertise in career development, human resources, and change management. She brings her vast experience in helping women find, she brings her vast experience in helping women find their best career path and her vast experience to Tyche Talk. So welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Lauren. I wrote the introduction, but it's always interesting to hear it read back to you. So thank you for sharing
Yes,
that, and thanks for having me. I know this was a long time coming.
yes. Can I say one more thing about how
Of course,
amazing you
please.
are? Yeah. So one of the
Oh, thank
things
you.
that's great about Andrea is that she empowers high performing women to take charge of the careers without starting over. It's so important because I know that's something people really fear. And she transforms their unfulfilling professional situations into strategic and aligned career moves. Yeah, that was smooth, right?
Not a problem. It's a Tuesday. We're getting going. Not a problem.
Thank you. So how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. It's great to be here, and I'm really excited to support your community and the people watching live or on the replay. So thanks everyone for taking time this afternoon to join us.
Thank you. So one of the questions I often get is about networking. So today we're going to talk about how to build and maintain your network.
Yes.
So I like to start off by asking that, there's the usual question. So I like to start with the unusual. So do you have any unconventional advice that you would give people around networking?
Yes, I love this question because what we don't often realize, Lauren, is that we're actually networking more than we realize. And we often kind of put networking in this, container of it needs to look a certain way. Maybe we're at an event, maybe we're, kind of old school networking, if you will, with, maybe not business cards anymore, but what used to be business cards. And in a room, really exchanging conversation with people in a way that may not feel as natural or comfortable to us. But really, what I want people to understand and walk away, one of the big takeaways from our conversation today is that you have an opportunity to network more often and in a way that's comfortable for you than you realize. So
Mhm.
I told Lauren before we jumped on the live that I actually just flew back today from visiting my sister. And that's, you might not think of a flight or traveling as an opportunity to network, but think of how many interactions you're having with people, right? Granted, it might not be people you see again, but you can practice the art of conversation and small talk when you're traveling. You're in line waiting to board your flight. The person next to you on the flight, you're buying a snack for your travel. So, any hobbies that you have, if you love to work out, you love to garden, you love to read. There's so many areas of opportunity that we love, that we enjoy. But I really want people to start to think about that because networking at the heart of it is a conversation. We have
Mhm.
conversations every single day. It's really looking at where are the ways that I can really elevate or transform that conversation for other purposes. So I'll
Yeah.
stop there for now.
I think the word networking gets people back up and they get really anxious and nervous about it. And one of the things I always tell people, I'm like, just think about it as making a connection, like building relationships, just the conversations, like you said, it's just taking the pressure off of networking.
Yes.
Like you don't need to have a definitive outcome to a conversation. And that
Yes.
that
And I
seems
think
to help.
that's a great point. And I want to just offer too, I'm a natural extrovert, so I 100% recognize and own that networking and small talk is comfortable for me. It doesn't make me feel anxious or nervous. And I also want to acknowledge that if that's not your personality, that's okay. You can 100% be successful at networking for your career, even if you're not a natural extrovert. And I have some tips on that when we get to that part. But this is something that everyone can do, and networking is so powerful because it's accessible and something really doable at every phase of your career. That's really going to just propel your career, no matter where you are.
Well, let's get to it. I'm an introvert or what ambivert, I think that's what they say. So
Yeah.
my ears are always perked up when I hear like, oh, here's some tips for people who aren't extroverts because people think I'm an extrovert. I'm not. So
Sure,
so let's
sure.
get into it.
Awesome. So, well, Lauren and I connected on LinkedIn, and, she shares this on LinkedIn, and, she shares content like I do on LinkedIn. And I don't work for LinkedIn, so I just want to say that. But it is such a powerful connection tool as like other social media tools, right? And if you're more inclined to be introverted, one of your strengths is observation. You are in any setting, you observe, you notice detail, you're able to really just watch behavior in a way that can be supportive to yourself. So a way that you can use what I call more passive networking techniques is using social media platforms to support your natural tendency as an introvert. Meaning, for someone like me and Lauren who post content every day, every couple of days on LinkedIn, comment on that post. You can share that post.
Mhm.
Like that post. Doing small steps like that is a really great way to really, as Lauren said earlier, build the relationship. So what you're really trying to do when you're networking is, yes, you're trying to have a conversation and connect, but you really want to get touch points with that person. To build a relationship, you have to build connection, you have to build familiarity, and that
Mhm.
means getting in front of that person in some way. So you might not have to be physically in front of the person, but if you're in front of their content, commenting, liking, that's a great, more passive way to network and build that relationship. I have people who have been following my content for months and months, and I absolutely feel like I know them. I see their face, I see their picture every day or every week. I see their comments. I look forward to seeing their comments. So when they reach out to me, I feel more inclined to connect because I already feel like I've met them before. So that's a great passive way. And then I already talked about this in the beginning, was thinking about the places in your life that you enjoy. When we are in a space of connection and excitement and joy, and we're feeling good about things, we're more likely to be less nervous,
Mhm.
right? We're in our element. We're more likely to create conversation because we're feeling great about, we're feeling good about things. We're doing something we enjoy. So even if you are an introvert, and I always pick on my husband for this because he's an introverted person. He loves to take a book and sit at a coffee shop and read by himself. Okay, so if that's what you love to do, a step could be just introducing yourself to someone in line. Making small steps. Okay, really, because you don't
Yeah,
have
no,
to.
like the whole point is to be by myself.
Exactly, but I want you to practice, right? But you're already in an environment where you feel comfortable, you enjoy that, you're reading your book. It is, but the more that you can integrate networking and things like that into your life, the easier it's going to become.
Yes, that's very I'm
Yeah.
always hesitant
So it's
to talk
small
to people
steps.
I'm
It's small
reading.
steps. And I love that reaction, Lauren. It's small steps, 100%.
Oh, I get so annoyed when I'm like reading my book and people are like, "So what are you reading?" I'm like, "My business. Leave me alone."
Right. You're right. And I can respect that. We don't want you like, breaking your quiet time. I'm all about, if you need to replenish and like, give yourself back some energy, but it doesn't have to be every time. Right. So let's say
Yes.
you do that once a week, maybe every third time, right? Challenge yourself to say, okay, today's the day I'm going to introduce myself to one person. So it really is about small habit building so that when you are ready to network, you're not ripping the band-aid off and doing all of these scary things all at one time, right?
Yes.
You build up some things to yourself. That's why I would say start with passive, go online, start to comment, share content, really get that interaction going kind of behind the scene or the screen, and then slowly start to transition to in-person interaction.
Yes. So, my spin as an introverted big reader is if you're in line and you see someone with a book, you can ask them about the book. But don't
Yes,
ever interrupt a reader when they're reading.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And that's exactly right. So just like we're talking about, networking is a conversation. So we
Yeah.
do want to really hold the integrity of a conversation, right? So you wouldn't interrupt somebody when they're talking. So don't interrupt somebody if they're reading quietly, right? But at some point, you're going to put your book down, take a break, maybe go refresh your coffee, refresh your tea, whatever it might be. So, take that opportunity to do that. So I have a whole, class on this essentially. I have a whole training on networking, but we're trying to cram in, some pro tips here in a short period of time. But I love that
Yes.
example. I love that example. Yeah. And I will say, everyone who's watching this, my husband had the same reaction to me when I told him that. And now he doesn't love networking, but he is a lot more comfortable and confident in those conversations where it takes less effort, it takes less energy for him. He's more proactively networking and reaching out to people, which has supported his career. So, and my clients are the same way. So, but
Yeah.
I pick on my husband because I can talk about him freely without breaking confidentiality. So, yeah.
One of the things I always suggest people, like you said, introverts, or ambiverts, they're very perceptive. So ask people questions because for the most part, even when people say, I don't like talking about myself, people love talking about themselves. So the
They
pressure
do.
isn't on you and they don't feel pressured because you're not grilling them. You're just asking, one of the things I always like to ask, I ask people, I'm like, "Oh, are you streaming anything really interesting lately?" And most
Mm,
people are at some point. Or if they're like, "I don't have a TV. I only read books in the coffee house and talk to people online." You can ask
yeah.
them about the book. So ask people questions. They love to talk about themselves and something that's interesting to them. So that's a really easy way. So you just ask one question and people go off like, "Oh, this." So that's
I
one
would
I always
agree.
ask about TV.
I would agree. And I think also going back to your first question, not to, belabor the point, and we'll move on to another question, but, unconventional tips for networking also is really starting with who you know. So often we think about networking in terms of developing new relationships, and that
Yeah.
absolutely is a benefit, especially if you're looking to grow in your career, you want a promotion, or if you're changing careers, looking to change industries, or whatever the case may be. Yes, you want to develop those new relationships with decision makers in those jobs or in those opportunities. But a huge untapped resource for a lot of professionals is their current network, people that they've already worked with, trusted coworkers, trusted past colleagues, family members is a really big one. Um, just to share a story from a client of mine, she found her new job through an unexpected place. It was a parent event at her child's school. And she connected with one of the parents. They had a conversation, and this client is not an extrovert. She is identified as a extreme introvert. But through coaching, I really supported her in building that. That was a place she went once a month. She had a parent meeting with the school. She would go there, and there was other parents in that room, and they met, and that person helped her get her new position.
Wow.
So you never know. So it's like that was a built-in opportunity into her everyday life that she just never even thought of, for networking opportunity. So really think about where there's already parts of your life where you have existing relationships that you could tap into, or people already know you or familiar with you, instead of building brand new relationships. Because especially as an introvert, that takes a lot more energy for a new relationship rather than a kind of a built-in or existing relationship, or for anybody for
So
that matter. So that's a pro tip as well.
so you've made these connections, you've had these conversations. So how do you nurture these newfound connections and relationships?
Yeah, so I'm fully transparent, right? I'm a very honest person. It takes work. So here's what I want people to know. Networking is a timeless career strategy that's going to work regardless of the market that you're in, the phase of career that you're in, but it is a longer term strategy. So networking is something that you want to be doing all of the time because you don't want to have a reactive strategy, meaning you don't want to have to scramble to build connections when you need them. You always want to be building and maintaining relationships so that it's a proactive strategy when you're ready to tap into your network. So a really simple way to do this is change of season, right? We have 4 quarters in a year. A great way is to reach out to your existing network or to a new person that you've met and check in with them. You know, right now, like we're spring, it's people are kind of coming out of the winter blues, the sun's starting to shine in many parts of, the country, things are blooming. Check in and share what to reconnect it back to our earlier conversation. Check in with them. You can share a win with them. If it's somebody that you know, like Lauren, if I haven't talked to Lauren, let's say in 3 months, I can reach out to Lauren and share, like, we're both business owners who work with very similar clients. I could check in with her and say, you know, hey, Lauren, I'm working on the strategy. It's working really well for me. I wanted to share. Tell me what's going on with you. Like, what are you working on? How can I support you? Just checking in with somebody and asking, how are you? How can I support you? Is such a simple thing to do that most people don't do. Just continually raising your hand on a pretty ongoing basis and saying, hey, I'm here if you need me, or I'm here if I can support you, is a fantastic way to reconnect with your network and stay connected with them. If you've already had a conversation with someone and they gave you a piece of advice, they told you a book to read, gave you a podcast, gave you a recommendation, let them know how that's going. Let them know how you use that piece of advice and check in with them. People, again, love to hear they helped. They love to talk about themselves, right? They love to hear that it was really great. So change of season, reconnecting about a conversation that you've had, or asking how you can support them, or three, well, kind of one way to support that. 2 ways to support that one idea. Sorry, guys, I was up at 4:00 this morning for my flight. My brain is getting tired.
It's fine. We're all out there.
Yeah. So that's a great way. Also, without getting into too nitty gritty of networking and in deep strategy here, if you don't know the person and are building new connections, again, starting with something simple like starting to follow them on LinkedIn, sharing their content, commenting on their content is a great way to stay connected and build that relationship until you kind of move that conversation offline and are starting to connect with them in a more kind of one-on-one manner rather than like a public fashion. So it really depends on the person, how well you know them, if you know them, how many interactions you've had. But quarterly is a pretty good rule of thumb, is to check in with people.
So would it be a good idea to have a kind of goal, like maybe touch base with 5 people this quarter or something like that? Have you found that helpful for your clients or for you?
Yes. I always I'll share this pro tip. I always advise my clients to keep a list of people in their network, and then based on their goals, prioritize a subset of that list to reach out to and connect with. I do the same thing. So I have a running list of contacts, of colleagues, of friends that once a quarter, I kind of look at that list and say, okay, based on what I'm working on right now, I'd love to reconnect with this person. So I'm going to shoot them a message and check in. I often do that. Really, LinkedIn, send an email. So yeah, it's really great. Know your goal is always important. Always start with clarity. Know, why do I want to connect with this person? What is it that I want to achieve? And keep a running list. Like I said, there's friends, family members, trusted coworkers, past colleagues that you could tap into, hobbies that you have, to keep that running list of people and reconnect with them is really important. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
So do you
awesome.
like keep an Excel spreadsheet? Like, because I was just thinking, like, well, I guess on LinkedIn you have a list already made for you of your connections, right?
You
Like, do you have
do, but it can be quite large. So
yes.
it depends. Everybody works differently in terms of the modality that's really going to support them in keeping track. For me and most of my clients, it is a spreadsheet. If you're on the go and you don't really want something that kind of formal and you're able to keep track on your phone, put it on your phone. I always tell people, start with where you are. So if you have a habit of keeping lists or keeping wherever you put things you need to get done, put that goal on that method first and then adjust it. Don't create a brand new methodology when you're adding on a new behavior, because a new can be can be frustrating, can just add more stress sometimes, which we don't want. The goal is to have you make it manageable and integrate into what you're already doing before you adjust it. So for me, I keep a running list. I keep a spreadsheet. I also keep a to-do list on my phone of priority items I need to get done. So if networking is on the list for the week, and typically it's on there once a week, it goes on the to-do list for that day or that week. I'm like, okay, I need to check in with these 5 people, to your point, or these 10 people this week. And again, your goal, this fluctuates based on your goals. So we're talking very broadly right now to a very broad group of people. We don't know your goals right now, but if you're job searching, that's going to look different. Your networking strategy is going to look different than if you're already in a position of wanting to grow and develop and get promoted. That looks different as if you're, wanting to explore new opportunities, but you're not quite ready to take action on it and you're getting information. So those are 3 examples of where you can apply networking, absolutely, but the strategy and the nuance of the way that you apply the strategy will look very different depending on your goal. I just want to set that, caveat there, that we're talking a lot of different things, but they're going to be applied very uniquely based on your goal.
I love that pro tip of start where you are. It's because so many times we all think like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to start running 3 miles a morning, and you haven't walked past your kitchen in 3 months. It's like, start where you are. Just start couch to 5K. Why don't we try that first before doing
100%. 100%. Networking is the same way. So if you are out of practice, really, gather some resources, practice 1, maybe 2 new things for a couple of weeks, then add on. Don't try to do all of it all at once. And then that's when people say it doesn't work, right? Because if you're trying to do everything all at once and you stop doing it and they're like, oh, it doesn't work. So really the key is, slow and steady with networking and always be doing it.
So if you had to leave our viewers with 1 or 2 tips, like if you take nothing else from this conversation, what do you want them to leave with?
Oh, when it comes to networking, there's so many. But one is what we just said, is start with where you're at. So I want everyone, an action you can take is set a timer for 15 minutes and write down a list of people that you know and can email right now, or can text right now, or can pick up the phone and call right now. So people that you know, and start your running list of contacts. That would be a warm contact. So start where you are. The action is set a timer for 15 minutes, write down a list of as many people as you possibly can. And then the second tip would be take action with networking. Okay. So it's one thing to make the list, but the list can just sit there and look pretty, right? I really am big on taking action. So the next piece would be is, however you keep yourself accountable, put another block of 15 minutes on your calendar for tomorrow or for a couple of days from now, and then take action on that list. And I want you to send at least 1 message to one of those people. Okay. And reconnect with them, ask them how they are, see if you can offer support in some way, the tips that we've been going over today. So I think those 2 things is make your list and take action on it, and then keep doing that. Slow way to start your couch to 5K for networking.
I love that. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be complicated. It could just be like, hey, I was just thinking about you. How are things going? What's going on? That kind of thing. It doesn't have to be complicated.
It doesn't. And we tend to overcomplicate things. So
yes.
And I've got a ton of resources to support people who are watching. So I can share those with Lauren. She can share those with other people, but I have a free networking cheat sheet to get you started. I also have a DIY course that people can check out if they're interested. So lots of ways to network and get started.
Also, first of all, you're reading my mind because I wanted to thank you so much for these amazing tips and ask you how people can find you, or if you have anything you want to announce or tell people about how they can start working with you, kind of thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So as Lauren said earlier, I'm a career coach. I help high performing women really empower their careers, take charge of their careers without starting over. And networking is one of the main strategies that I support women with and coach them on. I'm on networking. You guys, it's time for a nap. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn 5 to 6 days a week. So if anyone's watching and has questions, feel free to message me, follow me on LinkedIn, send me your questions. And then you can check out the free resources. There's a link in my featured section that takes you to my free resources page where you can download a free networking guide and other networking tips.
Yes. And she's going to send that to me, and when we repost this in the future, we'll make sure to include a link to that. So people will be able to go there easily. Well,
Awesome.
again, thank you so much. I just want to let people know it's next week. Our next Tyche Talk is May 21st. And I'm like, it's in 2 weeks. And I realized, no, April 20. Oh, wait, no, it is in May. Oh, April 21st is next week. But the
Yes.
next Tyche Talk we have scheduled right now is May 21st. And it is with how to get picky eaters, meaning children, to be more adventurous. And I'm not going to lie, I'm really excited about this because I have toddlers and they're in their picky eater era. But our guest is going to be Dr. Victoria Saunders. So I'm super excited for that. And I will have something in between, but I hope to see you guys definitively on May 21st. Be sure to check out the links to this call. So you'll be able to get the link to Andrea's LinkedIn. It's just networking tips, right? It's not LinkedIn specific, right?
Correct. It is general
Okay.
networking. So it applies to online and offline in-person networking. Yes, great clarification.
Yes. And I'm just going to put this out there. You can start with her. You can just reach
Yes,
out to her.
please. I agree. Send me your networking messages. Reach out to me. I'm happy to be that first message that you send, get the training wheels off and get you going. So yes, I endorse that with Lauren 100%.
Just look at throw things out there, see if you catch it.
Yes, I love it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Well, thanks so much for having
Great.
me. And
Sorry, good.
no, I said thanks so much for having me. It's been great. And I'm curious. I have my sister has a toddler, so maybe I'll send her your link for your next your
Yes.
next live.
Yes, they're very interesting. They like something today, but they will not like it in an hour, and they like it again in 3 days. So
That's
my
awesome.
pro tip is don't stock up on anything your toddler likes.
Maybe next
Totally.
time. Awesome.
So thank you again so much. And guys, be sure to check out Andrea's stuff on LinkedIn, or just go to actually, what is your website?
It is also linked in my featured section. It is AIM Consulting. So AYM consulting.io is my website. The easiest way to find that, go to my LinkedIn profile, go to the featured section. There's all types of resources there for you to check out.
There's also a little sign down there that says AYMconsulting.com. Just add the .com. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
No, it's .io. That's not a
.io.
misspeak.
Sorry.
It's .io, not .com. If you go to
Yes.
.com, I'm not sure who you'll find.
You know what? Just go to her LinkedIn page, look in her feed. Oh, my hair is always sticking out. Look in her featured
Yes.
section, and you'll have all the information.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lauren. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Okay, bye.